Amazing.
I think it's from J. Crew. Hi, everyone.
Oh, hi. This is us trying to be podcasters. I'm Andrea.
I'm Laura.
This is Laura.
We are podcasters, but this is what it's really like to podcast.
Yeah,
This is the real deal. We're
Yeah.
not futzing around here.
right. We're not already famous,
Nope.
so we don't have a podcast crew. We moved some computers around. And
We're shoved behind a
I
desk.
said, I think this Amazon mic will work for both of us. So we'll find out.
well,
Otherwise,
when this is done recording,
maybe nobody can hear us.
literally, it's gonna be a muted video.
If you can hear us, we crushed it.
Hopefully.
That's it. That's it.
Anyway, you guys, look at this. If you're watching this, I got this at a garage sale.
I love that.
Isn't that cool? Anyway,
All right.
that's all I've got to say. Thanks for having me. It's been a good time.
Yeah. Thank you. That was our podcast
That was
of the
it.
day.
That was actually it.
Business 101.
We have been talking though so much about the changes we're experiencing as business
Oh my
owners
gosh.
in mid 2025. The word I have been hearing repeatedly from people is pivoting.
I
And
hate that word, but yes.
but like seriously, like so Andrea and I basically were like, let's get together
Yeah.
and talk about what's going on.
yeah.
The stuff that, to be honest with you, business owners don't talk about publicly. They're
No.
always trying to put on a brave face. They
Yep.
don't want you to know what it's really like.
Yep.
But this is the real
Yeah.
deal.
Well, and there's that balance between I want to look like you should trust me with your business.
Right.
So, I did a LinkedIn post this week. I was like, I'm not going to be subtle about this.
Yeah.
I want your business. This is what I do. This is what I'm looking for. Like, I think we have to not be scared to say we need
yeah.
business, and also not scared to say, obviously, I'm in this to make money.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Like, I'm not retired.
well,
I'm
I
not
mean, that's the
independently
thing.
wealthy. It's a luxury that I love what I do. I will
Totally.
admit that any day. I love it. But it's still my job, and I'm still hoping that it's successful.
Mhm.
And so I think we do. We hide the part where we are saying, man, things are tough.
Yeah. I had a client come to me a few months ago and she said, I said, well, you need to just go post on LinkedIn or post on wherever you're posting.
Yeah.
And let people know that you're open for business. Just like let them know, like,
Yes.
here's how you can work with me. She was so resistant to doing it. And I was like, I don't understand why. Because if you guys watch my social media, I'm like, if you want to know more, DM me. If
Yeah.
you want these results, talk to me. I'm pretty shameless in
Right.
that regard. But
I'm like, right.
yeah, you're like, yeah, you are.
But I look up to you so much for that, because I think that is literally what we're missing.
But here's the thing, closed mouths don't get fed.
Mhm.
Number one. Number two, when she told me, I was like, why are you not doing this? She said, I don't want it to appear as though I'm not successful. And here's the thing. Okay. So like, let's just like pull back the curtain for everybody. Andrea and I'm putting this on you, and I claim it for myself.
Okay.
We are successful business owners.
Yep.
We've been in business for years. We have gotten clients. We know we both have teams.
Mhm.
Like we're
Yeah.
running real big girl
Yeah.
businesses. And business development never stops.
Oh my
There is
gosh.
some crazy, I'm sorry, I'm like on a rant. I'm
No, I need this. Please preach. And I mean, I've had a week, so I just might start
never-
crying while you
it-
have
cry.
this conversation.
That's my goal. Is for everyone to cry when they talk to me.
I spoke at an event last night, a women's
Okay.
event,
Oh,
women's
nice.
business event, and I gave a workshop on storytelling and marketing.
Okay.
And I got there and I said, first of all, I've had a really rough day. And so I
Oh.
thought to myself, I don't need to give this talk because I feel like the things we don't talk
Mhm.
about in business, right? And I said, but second, I said, if you are a woman in business and you're a business owner and you
Mhm.
haven't cried yet this week, or you don't cry once a week or at least once a month, you should be giving the talk. Because I don't know any woman in business who we understand it's not personal. And yes, men feel the same thing. Men feel the stress. They just, it comes out in different ways.
Differently, yeah.
But if you are a woman business owner and it doesn't just jerk you to your core
Yeah.
at least once a month, then you're not probably doing business development. because nothing is pressing you.
Right. Like, and that's the thing is that it doesn't stop. Like,
Mm-mm.
even for us as like quote unquote successful business owners, it just
Yeah.
doesn't stop. And so there is a fantasy, and I think the fantasy has been perpetuated by a bunch of yahoos on the internet that says, once I am successful, whatever that means, I won't have to do all these things.
Yep.
And I will tell you, if that, okay, let's just take this to like the furthest conclusion. If this were actually true,
Mhm.
companies like Salesforce and Google wouldn't need
Mhm.
sales staff
Right.
because people would just
Right.
be coming to them. But
Yes.
that is not reality.
Right.
Even the big guys
Yes.
need salespeople.
Well, I mean, do we see ads for Coke, Pepsi,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
GM? They're successful businesses. Why are they spending so much on advertising if they don't need to be consistent with business
Right.
growth?
'Cause
Or
it-
just
yeah.
consistent with business maintaining, right?
Yes.
There's always a new projection.
Yeah.
And I feel like we forget that that's the same for any size business.
Any size business. And so
Yeah.
that's the thing is like, for you and I think, and for anyone who's watching this who is a small business owner who doesn't have, necessarily tons of staff that you can just delegate everything to, who still has to do work in
Yeah.
degree in the business and on the business, is like, how do I set up this business so I can,
Yes.
make money
Yep.
and I like what I do. But like, there's something else here because you and I have been talking about this and I want to expose it. There's something here about pivoting. Because for some of us, and I can speak for myself because you and I are both sort of in the midst of new business ideas.
Mhm.
Sometimes when this happens, especially over a prolonged period of time, which I know you and I have both been experiencing, I think it's because of the election. I think like the economy is just like people are
so
scared.
uncertain. Everything is uncertain. It doesn't even matter. This is not a political conversation. This is
I'll make it political.
well, but I feel like I mean, if it is, that's okay too. But I feel like this is universal,
Mhm.
regardless of what you thought before the election.
Yeah. Mhm.
Now, this is the reality of it.
Yes.
We're living this. I don't care what your opinion is. It's real now.
This is where we
This
are.
is not theory anymore.
And then the question becomes, I think you've asked it, I've asked it, like, okay, things are getting harder in certain ways. Things are feeling less certain. I keep asking myself, is the juice worth the squeeze? Like, is the
Oh my
juice
gosh.
right?
Yeah.
So like I was asking myself that, and I'll talk about my thing in a minute, but like I want to hear about your thing because I know you've been thinking about that too. Like, okay, like we have to diversify. We
Yeah.
have to think differently about business
Yeah.
because maybe what we were doing
Yeah.
isn't working as well. So what are
Right.
you doing?
So, first, I want to say some of this cultivation for me and us starting to talk about this is the, top 10 ways to go viral. Here's the 20 downloads you could sell and never have to work again. Here's how to
God,
grow your
I can't.
email list to 17 million overnight. Here's how I did it. Buy this.
Oh my
And when
God.
I started thinking about what I need to do to love what I do and continue making money,
Mhm.
and what does like growth look like,
Mhm.
that was really the big that's the big conversation right now,
Mhm.
is this automate,
Mhm.
download, make money off of other consultants, which, I mean, no offense to people who consult really
Mhm.
well to other consultants. That's
Sure.
why we know each other, is
Yeah.
because you're a great consultant. But this idea that I'm going to buy something from this person I follow and then I'm going to be as famous as them, like
That
that is taking the Mary Kay and Tupperware of
Yeah.
the 70s and taking it to Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok
Mhm.
and selling it on the mom and pop shop like us, who are just looking for the next big thing or the next thing to diversify or the thing to make it easier. It's not going
It's
to be
not gonna
easier.
be easier.
You're not going to have 17 million. What you're going to do is give that person their 17
Mhm.
million. And so I want to start by saying that, because when I started thinking about what do I need to do, I really started to fall into that trap.
Can I just interject something here? Because every snake oil salesman will try to tell you, if you buy my thing, you'll never have to work in a day in your life.
Mhm.
it'll suddenly happen. It's just, come on, we
Yeah.
all know
That's
that's not really
amazing
true.
sales. It's really good sales.
It's very appealing psychologically because it
Yep.
feels like, oh, I'll get you out of the psychological pain you're in.
Yep.
So here's a question I asked myself, because I was like, whatever I do, there's going to be a hard component. It doesn't matter what you
Yep.
do, it's going to be hard in some way. So for me, I was like, where is my joy? Because I can do hard things
Mm-hmm.
if there's a joy aspect to it.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
that's the question I started asking
I love
myself.
that. That's exactly what I started doing. And we didn't even know we were both
Yeah,
pivoting
we
at the
didn't even
same
know.
time.
Yeah.
But I started thinking, what do I love to do? What do I already do that I don't do enough of or talk about?
Mhm.
And one of those pieces, and this is what I'm launching in June, where I'm launching this entire new brand about intentional personal branding.
Mm.
It's something we all do and we all talk about. It's something that I do in the PR world with my clients already. It's just a part of naturally what happens when you sit down to talk with a business owner or a marketing coordinator about, what's the real story behind this business?
Mm.
What is the real mission behind this nonprofit? How do we want to show up? What is the intention, right? Brand work is always that, right? And so when I looked at what we do with businesses and the disconnect that we have when it comes to this really intentional, when you're going to start a company or you start a brand or you look at people's advertising,
Mhm.
they've thought through brand colors,
Mhm.
they've done sampling on what people feel when they hear the names of their businesses, all of those things, right? And then take it to the next step of, I asked at the talk I gave last night, and we were talking about intentional branding.
Mm.
And I said, if you see someone in a red shirt and khaki pants, where do they probably work? Target.
Mhm.
If you see someone in a green shirt and khaki pants, where do they probably work? And they were like, Starbucks, Menards,
Mhm.
depends on where you
Mhm.
live.
Mhm.
And I said, there is a reason that branded clothing has a name on it. There's a
Mm.
reason that brands will have you wear a uniform.
Right.
It's because you look the part.
Yes.
And so when I started thinking about what I do with my clients when we are getting ready to launch a business, when we're getting ready to pivot their business, when we're getting ready to do PR, media training, the end of the day, it always comes down to, what will I wear?
Mm. Wow. What will I wear?
And what do I see when somebody walks in the room? It's that first impression. We know it takes a split second for a first impression.
Yep.
And we've tried to tell everybody, show up, lean
Yeah.
in,
Mhm.
do the thing, do the
Right.
podcast, get on social media, make
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
video, go to the job interview, go to the networking event. And I realize in my work, because I'm pushing people out of their comfort zone, the last call I get almost every time with a new client before they do their first media interview,
What to wear?
what should I wear?
Yes.
And I talk them through it.
Yes.
And sometimes they'll call me and we FaceTime and we talk
Yep.
through. I've had a couple clients that we've done shopping days.
I love that.
And
That's
so
so cool.
I realized that this thing I do over here,
Mhm.
and the fact that I love fashion and I love clothes and I love helping people, my friends and family all call me for this. My clients, I have past and current clients who call me to do outfit checks. And I thought,
I love that.
man, if I think this could be on purpose and intentional and people should feel free to think about what they wear,
Mhm.
I want to find joy in what I do.
Exactly.
So I just married the two.
I love that. It's such it is literally, I mean, as a non-fashion person, I don't know if you guys can tell that watching this video.
You put on a red lip. That was
I
on
put on a red lip.
purpose.
I actually also brought my garage
She wore,
necklace. I don't have it on because I don't want it to like
Right.
mess with the mic. But that's something that like I definitely have struggled with. And I identify a little bit more as a tomboy, because that's just kind of what I like.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of what I'm about. And so for me, when I hear you talk about this stuff, I feel very much like you're not telling me you have to look this way.
No.
You're telling me, how can we make what you naturally love to do,
Yes.
like feel more in line with your brand?
Yes. Yeah. I see this as, and when I do this with clients now, it isn't about what you wear.
Mhm.
It's about being intentional.
Mhm.
That's exactly how I've always done social media with my clients. I don't think you'll go viral tomorrow. I want you to be intentional about what you share and
Yes.
consistent,
Yes.
right? So when I'm starting to kick off these closet consults
Mhm.
and brand evaluation and all of this, it's more about it's not maybe it's shopping, it might not be shopping. It
Mhm.
might be let's empower what you already have.
Exactly.
Let's make it work together so that maybe you change nothing. Maybe you just organize it all and maybe you know why
Mhm.
you wear what you wear.
Exactly.
It's about that piece of it. And I think that's where we kind of have this disconnect because someone told us along the way, men and women, that if you are really successful and you're professional and you are humble, you're not vain and you don't overdress and think about what you're going to wear.
Oh, that's so crazy. So I had this woman, I will never forget her. She was my PR teacher. I took PR in college.
I
My
love it.
PR teacher, she said, we were 23 or something.
Okay.
And she said, okay, now for your job interviews, like you have to be
Mhm.
ready to show your image.
Mm-hmm.
You're not even going to believe this. I had to go buy a gray suit
Mm-hmm.
with a skirt, like a
Yep.
long, if anyone's ever seen Vertigo, there's like that iconic gray suit that the actress in
Uh-huh.
it wears. I own something like that. You know, this was just about 20 years ago.
Right.
I felt so deeply uncomfortable. I was like, this is not who I am. Why am I wearing this thing? Now, if you want to wear a gray suit,
Yes.
wear a gray suit.
Yes.
But like,
That's
that is not
exactly
me.
it. Right. And that's the piece that I think we've been told, especially in the corporate world, what looks corporate.
Yeah.
And so I bought a suit for my first job interview and I was so uncomfortable and I was hot and my arms were stuck. I went to Ann Taylor. I think my mom sent me money. I went to Ann Taylor or Loft, which
Yeah.
that store was not made for someone with hips. And I had hips and I walked in and I was squeezed into this thing with no spandex. And I was like, okay, this is what professional looks like.
Yeah.
But that journey that I was on led me to realize I'm not cut out for corporate. Because at that
Yeah.
time you did need to be a certain
You
look.
did have to look a certain
And
way.
I worked in healthcare doing marketing for years and you weren't allowed you had to wear nylons.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yes.
Wow.
You had to wear nylons or a closed toe or whatever.
Yes.
And I was like, and I did it because I needed to work. But it was part of this journey where I was figuring out what I wanted to do. And I'm honest about the fact that I work for myself because I have to and I need to.
Mm-hmm.
It is what makes my life work. Right. It's how I find my balance. When I gave this talk last night, I said, if you're here and you're a business owner, there's a reason for it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to just be intentional about that reason and everything else around it. I will be honest with you. I do this and I work for myself and I love being a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
But I started being a freelancer and consulting and working for myself because I couldn't do a 9 to 5.
Oh, same.
I
Impossible.
couldn't. And then I had my son. And if I did a 9 to 5, I'd be a shitty mom. I know, and so because those are my priorities and that's what I want to be intentional about, maybe I'd be a fine mom, but
No, you would
I
be.
have to,
You would make it
I would
work.
make it work.
You'd make
but
it work, but
I
you'd be
find
further.
so much more joy.
Well, that's the thing. You'd be further and further away from your joy. So it's like going
Yes.
back to this discussion of putting on the suit and like even in the proverbial sense of like, we all have to put on the suit or put on the mask or whatever it is. And it's kind of like, for me, when I was listening to you speak about this, I envision it's like getting a paper cut. It's kind of like, but it's just a paper cut,
Yeah.
but like, But then as we walk through life, whether it's related to business or personal,
Yeah.
there's kind of like another paper cut and another paper cut and another paper cut, each paper cut taking us away
Yes.
from our joy. And what ends up happening over the years, and and we've all seen people like this, because I don't know, you're over 40. We're okay. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Okay. We're both over 40.
Yeah.
What happens?
We look great for over 40.
We
I'm
do look
fine with
great.
it.
We look great.
I'm crushing it. I've already said I'm very intentional about my look. I got the Botox.
You are.
I've decided.
Oh, I'm with you on
I have
that.
decided how I will age. But I do that. I'm on purpose about it. So
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of it.
Oh, I'm with you
Yeah.
on the Botox
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So what happens is like you become 35 or 40 and that little paper cut is like 10,000 paper cuts on you. Your hand is freaking bleeding into the ground.
You're like, I got this.
And yeah, and it's like you can barely even hold your hand and you're like, why does life hurt so much? Why does it feel so bad? And it's because it's a million little paper cuts. And so like you reclaiming part of your joy.
Yes.
Our listeners saying, okay, what is one more paper cut I don't want?
Right.
I'm not going to take.
And acknowledge, I love the example of the paper cut because we live in a world where we think that pain and struggle is some sort of competition. And like mine isn't as bad as yours, so I shouldn't complain. And so the paper cut example is perfect because what it tells me is people feel like they shouldn't complain about a paper cut.
Yes.
That's teeny.
Yes.
It's not a gash. It's not a knife
It's a
cut.
little.
It's not a stab.
Yeah.
It's little. But you're right. When we don't acknowledge that hurts, I should tend to it. What can I do to not get another paper cut?
Yeah. Like, how can I not do this again?
Maybe I don't need to deal with paper. Maybe I'm in the wrong, but maybe
You're
I need to
fully
quit.
digital.
Maybe
fully
I need
digital.
to quit the paper company.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Whatever it is, right?
You
but
get
if
an
we don't
iPad.
acknowledge that, we're going to get another one because we didn't even acknowledge that it hurt.
Exactly. And then we just keep going.
Oh
and
my
then we
gosh,
get further and further and further away from ourselves. And it's like, you know, I meet women a lot in my world who are like, and we're all asking this question, y'all. So it's like, I'm not saying this like, oh, these women are really off base, but like, what do I want? Who am I? Where am I headed? And it's like, one, I think we're all asking that question. And if you have never allowed yourself to sit in like, who might I be? What might I want without worrying about my kids, without worrying about my spouse, without worrying about the shoulds? Like, what do I want? Like, just like right now, like without worrying about my weight or like worrying about my wrinkles or worrying about like, what do I want right now? Maybe I want, listen, I'm gonna tell you what, it's gonna be ice cream. For me, it's gonna be a cup of ice cream. But maybe for other people, it's gonna be like, I actually just really want to laugh.
Yeah.
Or I want to buy those really cool earrings. Or I want a vacation away from my family.
Right.
Like whatever.
Yeah. I want a day off.
I want a day off.
I want to love my job. Or I want a meeting with somebody. Like it could be anything. And if you sit with that to think about it, but then I think that's where the planning part comes in. That's where we talked about business development never ends. Personal development never ends. There's no arrival point in life.
You arrive when you're 6 feet under.
That's it.
That's like when you don't have any more problems, you don't have any more questions is when you're not here.
It's just a journey. There's we're just doing some stuff. You know, I mean, I tell you all the time, you know, you joke that I'm the nicest person who hates everybody.
Well,
I really
do.
Have
repeatedly said that.
But that is kind of, you know, I think when I gave this workshop last night and I said, listen, you're going to feel like I'm not up here because I'm better than you or I have it more together than you. And I want to be really intentional about telling you that.
Yeah.
Because I want you to feel empowered that you could do whatever it is you want to do. I just happen to want to do this. Yes. I want to share my story. I want to empower people. That's my joy.
I think for people like hearing you talk, if someone's listening to this, trying to figure out like, what's my next step? And they really don't know. You just kind of brought up something really profound. Who do you admire? Who do you admire? Who are you like, they're really cool? Or like, if you see someone who gets an opportunity and maybe you feel a little jealousy, why are you jealous?
Yes.
Because you want that?
That's so good.
Which is okay. It's actually okay to want things.
Yeah.
It's okay to be like, oh, why didn't I get that? Right. And then be like, okay, cool. Like I'm getting clues. I'm getting markers. I'm getting ideas of like where I want to go.
Yeah. But it's that being aware of it. And I think that's where I love seeing where getting dressed merges with that.
Yeah.
Because what happens is I'll find out, we start digging into a closet and I ask, we find out, why did you buy this? What did you wear this? What did you wear it to? It's the same thing I do with people's calendars when I'm starting to cultivate brand. We do this exercise where I say, look at your calendar for the last month. What are the top 3 things that fill your time? For most people, it is work, personal goals, family. For some people, it's like work, family, working out, work, friends, whatever, right? And so we look at that, and then I say, now take a step back. Did you know that those are the top 3 things filling your time? Do you want those to be the top 3? Because that's your reality. A lot of people are disconnected from what's actually happening, the same as you're disconnected with what's in your closet. And so, did you know you have 17 pairs of black pants? Do you want to be in black pants? Do you go places that need black pants? If you do, great, but let's do it on purpose.
Exactly.
Let's just be aware so that when we sit with ourselves and we think, what do I want? To me, it's that people always say, find your why, find who you are. This is kind of like a really simple journey to get to it. Maybe I needed to cut and dry it simply for myself. And so I feel like maybe this will help other people, It's that, don't overthink it. Look at your calendar, look at your closet. Yeah. Whatever fills your time is what you've said to yourself in the universe is important.
Yep.
Make sure it actually is. Make sure it actually is. And if it's not, what can you do? I dropped my phone. You're welcome. If it's not, what can I do to adjust that?
Exactly. So like, I hear you. I heard this great thing, this great quote, which I'm about to butcher, but it's like, it's not about who you want to become. What this thinker was saying, which I do tend to agree with, is that there's no time. There's no time-space continuum.
Yep.
Like the past, the present, and the future, they all coexist. Whoever you're going to be has already happened.
You are it.
You've actually already lived, like from a quantum physics point of view, like we've done this already.
Yeah.
We've lived. So it's not about who do you want to become? You've already become them. Now it's, how are you becoming them?
Yeah.
Are you becoming them? Are you stepping into them? And if you're looking at your closet, if you're looking at your calendar and you're saying to yourself, am I becoming the person I know I want to be?
Yep.
The answer becomes very simple, because all these little daily teeny weeny actions, little daily teeny weeny little paper cuts are determining your future.
Every time you buy a pair of black pants,
nobody's going to wear black pants after this.
No, I'm in black pants right now. But let me say this, I did this last night when I was giving this talk, and I'm intentional about what I wear, right? Not on purpose, and because I just like putting outfits together. This is personally a passion for me. But I was there last night, and the lady said, one of the women there said, "Oh, I really like those shoes. That outfit's really cute." So I'm in tennis shoes.
Me too.
Because I've decided, and I also I'm in black pants, but they're frayed.
They're cute. They look cute.
I cut them because I bought some jeans that were too long for me because I'm short. And I was like, these are going to be cutoffs.
Andrea is a little home fry.
I'm 5'2 3/4.
Okay. Got it.
I got 3/4. But I said to them, I said, I do this on purpose. So I come into this room and I look, put together, I think. But I said, I run around all day, and I decided I was going to be in tennis shoes because I want to be able to get from one thing to the next, and I want to be comfortable. But also I want the people who see me to understand that I am getting my job done as a business owner, not in a suit.
Right.
I want to feel like me.
Yes.
Every day. Like you came here in a hat today and a red lip. Like that's a power move right there. Like I am a successful business owner. I don't have to do my hair and I don't have to get dressed up to look great and be successful. To me, that's the power. That's the empowerment that we need to give back to ourselves. I'm feeling better about
my closet now.
Yes.
But like, seriously, like one of the things that I talk to my clients about is I will say to them, a lot of people will tell you have to look a certain way. You have to look like a role. And the truth is, especially for those of us in business, you need to look like you
Yes.
and feel good about what you're putting out there. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, I do wear, and we've talked about this
I
on
don't want
prior
that false
episodes.
advertising.
Yeah. By the way, one thing I love about Andrea's look that you can't quite see, her tennis shoes have a little brown stripe that matches her shirt.
They do.
It's
So
so
here's
cute.
if
Look at this.
there's I don't know if anyone has seen that TikTok where it says if I like it, I'll just get another color.
I haven't seen that
Okay,
one.
there's a TikTok trend that's like a sound. If I like it, I'll just get another color. If I
Okay.
like it. So
Oh,
I
that's
bought
me.
these shoes. Oh, here, these shoes in white with a black
You are
stripe.
literally going to set off every foot fetishist.
Good, because
they are all going to be like,
hey,
at whatever minute this is,
I'm
they're
gonna
all
pivot. I'm gonna diversify.
That's
However,
the pivot.
this podcast.
That's the
yeah,
pivot.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna make money however. No, I'm just.
Your
kidding.
shoe
I'm just
content.
kidding.
Yeah.
But I have these shoes in white and black, and I loved the way they looked when I was dressed up.
She's got another pair.
And I got another pair.
Love it.
I also got the other pair because the other ones got dirty. But I feel like this feels like me. It's taken me 42 years to be okay. So with that.
Yeah.
Right. And so but that's the empowerment I want to give to other people. That's the
100%.
empowerment that I don't think we talk about. Again, I love you. I feel better about my closet. That's what I want people to feel like. And if you need something, great, let's put it back together.
Exactly.
But like, do it on purpose. I just want intention.
The great thing about a stylist, I mean, you haven't called yourself a stylist, but like that's kind of how I'm thinking of you.
Yep.
One of the great things about that is that, there is, for people like me who, again, I am more of a tomboy. That's just kind of my thing. There are people who I see who I'm like, I like how they look. They look similar to me.
Yeah.
But there's something.
How do I make that work?
Undefinable to me about it that I can't put my finger on.
Yeah.
And that's why people should hire you.
That's the call you make to me where you're like, here's this picture. I don't know how to do this. Or I want to feel like this when I go somewhere. Okay, awesome. Or I have this, I don't know what, that's the call I get from my clients now is I'm going to this thing. They've said this, business casual, whatever. What does that look like right now? And the first thing I say is, what do you want it to look like for you? Because business casual to everyone's going to look differently.
Totally.
And also it's 2025. You get to have a lot more fun than we used to in corporate.
God. Even like before COVID, even like 2019.
Yeah.
Like the vibe.
Yeah. Comfortable.
I love that.
And I love that, right? But I think that's the part where it's like, hey, I like this. It doesn't mean that you are unhappy with where you're at, right? It's like seeing a therapist on your best days, right? It's that consistency of knowing, hey, I've got Andrea in my back pocket, right? I do but I do quite a bit of crisis PR, right? And it is always that we hope there's never a crisis, but if there is a crisis, we have a plan for it, right? Just a
like
plan.
The worst time to contact you for crisis PR is when you're in the crisis.
Yeah.
They should have the plan
way ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so same thing with the closet. For me, it's okay. And I'm probably over a planner, right? For me, it is what do I want life to look like overall? What's my next, sometimes we say, what's the next month look like? Okay, you're going to do this interview. You have this networking event. Do you feel empowered with what's in the closet and on the calendar and it's exactly the same as prepping your elevator's pitch. You are going to be a lot more comfortable doing your elevator pitch if you feel really great when you're standing in front of someone. And your impression is going to arrive before your elevator pitch.
Well, exactly. And there's something to be said. There's like little, I don't want to call it a trick, but little things about marketing that if you're into them, you can make that part of your style, part of your brand. So like you can, let's say you're somebody who really likes to wear cowboy hats.
Yes.
That can actually
let it be your thing.
Or like I'm wearing a red lip. I typically wear a red lip when I do things that are public facing.
Yeah.
Because I like it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not going to wear this walking around my house, but like, yeah, I will. And so it's like, maybe that's my thing, or maybe your thing is, You just always have really cool earrings on or
Mhm.
whatever. Like
Yeah.
those little, I can't remember. There's a word for them. I'm trying to, I don't
Oh,
remember.
like the idiosyncrasy or the
Yeah,
no, the
it
yeah.
doesn't matter. There's a word to describe that. Somebody let us know what it is in the
Yeah.
comments. But those little markers, maybe it's a
Mhm.
marker of like, oh, this is who they are. This
Yeah,
is what they're
it
about.
sets you
Like the Red
apart.
Hat Society,
Yes.
right?
Well, I think that's the purpose of when we look at business,
Mhm.
right? And we look at if we're all in business and we're all branding, the only thing different about your business is you,
Exactly.
right? I have that authentic branding ebook that I did, and there's a whole section about the fact that everyone's a plumber.
Right. Yeah.
If you imagine everyone in your industry is a plumber, whatever your industry is, we all have the same tools. The plungers are the same. The problem's the same. Somebody's toilet broke or whatever.
Yeah.
So all the stuff is the same. The only thing different is who you are, how you show up, why you're a plumber,
How you deliver.
what your training was, all those things. And so if you're not telling anyone that stuff, right? And it doesn't mean that you are better than someone else. It means you're different. It means the clients that want to work with you and align with you and are attracted to what you are will be your clients.
Can we talk about that being better thing for a second?
Yeah.
Because this is for all the gals who are listening to this, and maybe the guys and gays, whoever's listening to this.
Mhm.
But in particular, women are so we know from the data, women are wildly educated. In some ways, that's amazing. But in other ways, I think that there are women who believe I need to have more diplomas, more degrees, more certifications, and more trainings to be ready, to be worthy of. And the answer to that is actually what you really need is the confidence of a mediocre white man.
Oh, where's the mic we could drop? And this one won't make a big sound.
Because you really don't need, because you actually, people don't, this is the myth of meritocracy, which has been actually drilled into your and my head, is that we have to be the best to succeed. But if you look at any guy in an organization, and there's a great book about this called like, Why Are So Many Incompetent Men Leaders? It's written by a man, by the way, it's written by a researcher. It's a very interesting book. It's all about the best people do not necessarily rise to the top. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to be great at your work and deliver great results. But the sense of like delaying what you do, delaying how you could help people because you're not quote unquote the best, like please do not delay.
Well, it's that waiting for perfection. But also that's that imposter syndrome. That's that insecurity. That's that. But you're right. Women have been since the beginning, right? Men just kind of go through life. Whatever happens to them happens. They don't color their hair as much. They don't have to shave as much. They don't wear as many layers of clothing throughout all the years.
They just let it go.
They're just doing what they do.
They're just doing what they do. Yeah.
And I think that is, and I'm fine with, I'm not saying let yourself go. I'm saying decide that you are worth whatever you already are. And that has value. If you want 100 degrees, fine, get 100 degrees. But you're right. We do this thing where we keep trying to figure out what will validate us and make us feel. And that's why I say I'm a stylist. I'm doing personal branding. I do PR with folks. I'm not a personal shopper because I want people to realize that you may not need another thing. Let's find out who and what you are first. And get you excited about that, intentional about that.
It's a really cool angle on, again, I'm going to call it being a stylist, but it's way more than that because it's really looking at the human being at their core of like, are you telling the world
your story?
Your story. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. So talk to me about what's going on with you.
Okay. So what's going on? We have you and I touched on this in another podcast episode, but since then it's kind of gone more full tilt.
Evolved.
It's evolved.
I have water somewhere.
Do you need water? I'm mumbling. There's water right there.
Oh, that water? Okay.
Is that your water?
Yep. Keep talking.
Okay. Like we're
real life here.
We can edit this.
I feel like this should be a show.
This should be a show.
We need to
be on public access.
Yes.
Can we do that?
We should. Let's talk about that after this. Because I need to see what city you live in.
Okay, we'll talk
because
about it
then we
later.
could probably.
Oh, definitely.
Mhm.
So I run a program, for those of you who don't know, which is called Elevate. For the last 12 years, I've been consulting. And for the last 4, I've been running Elevate,
Mhm.
which really is working with largely solo service providers on their sales and marketing and helping them, build a pipeline and, get more clients and all this stuff. And Elevate is like my baby, right? It's my little
I
baby.
love it.
And I've loved her for years. I still love her. I love the people I work with. But Elevate was really born out of necessity.
Hmm.
And Elevate was born out of I lost my business in 2020. I was doing public speaking. Prior to public speaking, I was doing more corporate consulting. Then I started public speaking. Then it was like, I don't know, March 20th or something.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
And I was like, oh, well, there goes my business.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I won't be on stages for years.
Right.
Bye. And I had to really sit down and think about what is it that I really want to do? And what do I know? And what do I teach? And what can I sell? And all this type of stuff. And so based on that is how Elevate was actually born.
Okay.
And Elevate has fed me. It has nourished me. It has been incredible. And
it's how we met.
It's how we met. Yeah. And it's amazing.
Yeah.
And there is a part of me that does not get expressed through the work that I do. And there's a part of me that, if you know me, well, you know me kind of in both worlds.
Mid, yeah.
But for people who only know me as a quote unquote businesswoman, they're like, wow, you're you're very direct, you're on it, you say what you mean, you're very strategic. And yes, those are all parts of me.
Yeah.
But there is another part of me that used to get expressed more in my creative work and in my public speaking, which is the deeply creative and playful side of me, which I don't do in business. And so in January, okay, and I'm going to say this for myself. Listen, the inauguration fucked me up. I was a mess. And I could feel it in the community. I could feel my community members however, I mean, it's just been awful. And watching all the stuff
it's been on a roller coaster.
The tariffs, and I have clients, who worked in public health, and what the heck's happening to the CDC and NIH? It's just crazy. So all of this has just been going on. And I have been finding myself in the midst of all of that feeling wait a minute, my creative well is dry. I'm missing something. And so I started playing role-playing games just for fun.
We talked about this a little
We
bit.
did
If
talk
you
about
missed
this.
if you missed her I don't know, expose of this when I was
You're like, what are you doing?
What?
What are you doing? So I started playing these role-playing games just for fun. And I would notice how much better I felt and how that creative side of me was really getting nourished. And so I started doing it more and more and more. And then I started to, since we last spoke, looking at more of the research behind this.
Yeah.
Because I was like, why am I so into this? What's going on here?
I love it.
So here's the interesting thing. Being in a role-playing game where you're immersed in a creative problem-solving adventure, it creates a flow state. Which, for those of you who don't know, from the research, a flow state is the place where you actually experience true happiness.
Oh, wow.
And so you experience, and you can also work through problems that you're dealing with in the real world
without even knowing,
without even realizing you're doing it. And so I was working through all this stuff as my characters. We have one where I play a granny, and I call it Granny D&D, which means Dungeons and Dragons. And I realized, wait, my character, it took me a while.
Right. Do you get to pick who you are?
Yes.
So you chose you were going to be a granny? Or was there options?
We were all going to be grannies.
Okay.
So I just was sort of I just came up with a granny.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh yeah, I'll just do this, whatever. Like, and my granny was uh, named Ruth, and Ruth loved being in Jello mold competitions.
Gosh.
Where did I come up with that? Like, who
Yeah.
even knows?
Yeah.
And then my granny had to have, like, part of the rules of this game was my granny had to have like a cozy place where she just hung out and was like happy.
Yeah.
So my granny had like an olive green kitchen where she would like
Oh my
have all her
gosh.
Jello molds.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm going through the story and I'm, playing my character and solving mysteries, and it's really fun and cozy. There's no dragons involved in this, you guys. If anyone's like dragons, orcs, ew, go away.
Right.
Not this game.
Okay.
And I had these moments where I was like, oh shit, this is something I'm dealing with in my real life
Wow.
that I didn't even realize I was working on here.
Yeah.
So it has created, okay, so that's one thing. That's one reason I love it. But here's the other reason I love it. The only purpose of a role-playing game is to play.
That's that piece we just forget about as adults.
We forget, like, all those cuts you've got
Mhm.
on your arm. If you want to start healing them,
Mhm.
start playing.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
literally, I was like, I feel like it's been healing me.
Yes.
Like healing me. I'm
That's
like,
that inner child who doesn't get to play anymore.
who's coming out, who's
Yeah.
playing, exploring. And importantly, critically, there is no freaking point but playing.
Right.
There is no point. I am not trying to set another capitalist goal. I am not trying
Yeah.
to, do something that society says. I'm playing a freaking granny with a Jello mold.
Oh my
Like,
gosh, that's amazing.
so this was making me feel so much better. So I started offering it to my fellow entrepreneurs. I was like, hey, I'm going to play this game. I know this is weird, but do you want to play? So I ran one for some entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs last week.
Okay.
Andrea, they were like blown away.
Oh, I bet.
They were like, I can't believe we're having this much fun. I can't believe how open I feel, how free I feel. I want to do it again. I want to play again. And I'm like, so in terms of like me and like, I'm like, I need to get this out to more people.
Yes.
I need to do this more.
Yes.
And so part of my pivot is, yes, Elevate is there. Elevate is my baby. Elevate will continue. And
yes,
this is like driving that creative side of me.
It. Yeah.
So if you're listening to this and you're like, I want to be a granny.
Yeah.
You're going to be a granny.
No, I'm already signed up. I'm going to be a granny. I'm getting my date. I mean, I also just want to be a granny. That sounds amazing. My granny is going to have to be called. So my son, I don't know how this ever happened, right? My son acts like he's an old man anytime he sees something that is like a cane.
Really?
Yes. It started a couple years ago because he knows how to play, right? He's 10.
Yeah, he knows how to play.
So we had a wrapping paper tube that was empty. And he gets over and now he's an old man, right? Every time he does his old man voice and talks to me, it's always, come on, Janet. I don't know why. And we laugh now. It's been a year of, all right, Janet, I don't know where my pants are. And when he gets ready, like it's hilarious.
Oh my
He's fun. I got a funny kid. So he does that. And one day I'm laughing. I said, we don't know a Janet. We don't know a Janet. And he goes, I know. I don't know where that came from. So if we have a granny, it has to be Janet.
You're Janet.
But it's literally, and so we watched a movie one day and somebody's name was Janet. And he was like, Mom, it's Janet. We had no idea.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So but again, he knows how to play.
Adults have forgotten. And I actually think, so like, if you want to solve, here's what the research shows. Let's say you have a team and you have a problem on your hand, or you're asking yourself the question, what do I want to do with my life?
Yeah.
Here is what most people will do. They will think about it to death. They will run themselves. They're running a goddamn ultra marathon in their head.
We're exhausted.
They feel like they're doing something, but you're not doing anything. And you're just like, and then you're exactly where you are. So the research can show, or has shown, that when we pull ourselves out from the problem and we don't look at it, and we go do something like role-playing games, it can actually encourage a lot of creative problem solving.
Of course.
So it's like, everyone is going to tell you to look at it more. Look at it more, think about it more, do this worksheet. And I'm not saying those things are necessarily bad, but if
Yeah.
those things have not gotten you where
Yeah.
you want to go,
Yep.
it's time to be a granny.
Yeah.
And it's time
That's
to
so
pull out,
smart.
and it's time to say, I'm going to give myself dedicated time to not focus on this
Yeah.
and do something for the pleasure and
Yeah.
joy and laughter of it.
I love that. Well, I think that is what so many of us are missing.
Yes.
And we don't give ourselves that luxury, or we don't think we have time. I have a good friend who's an organizational psychologist, and all they do is, they work with venture capital companies, large organizations. They do, coaching, development, hiring, team building, all of those things, right? During transitions, stuff that you would think who does this, right? These psychologists do it. And you know what they do? Role play. They do mock scenarios. The best, I've been in therapy since my 20s. A lot of therapy, especially with children, is role play.
Is that amazing?
Because it allows you a disconnect.
Yes.
If you were this, how would you feel? Right? And it's not to that extent, but I can see where that comes in and gives you a safe place.
A totally safe place to explore, to
Yeah.
play. Or like, think about a hard conversation. You can't get out the words. Like, it's just really, we've all been there, right? But what if you do that as your character?
Yeah.
What if your granny can say it?
Yeah.
What does that mean? And how do like those parts of you integrate after the fact? Like, I think that's really powerful.
That's exciting.
I know.
I
So
am excited.
I'm bringing this into companies.
Okay.
I'm bringing this to entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
I'm bringing this to people who just want a true break.
Yeah.
Like, if you're just like, okay, well, all that science-y mumbo jumbo sounds great, but like, I actually just want to like,
it's time for a break.
I want a break.
Yeah.
So
or my team needs a break.
It's absolutely, my team needs a break. All of that. This is what I am bringing into the world.
Yeah. And we talked briefly, and my mind is kind of percolating because I think that piece of it, that intention and that freedom, it's exactly the same and different to where I got with the people. Everyone's just trying to figure out what they're going to wear. Right. It's that simplicity of it. When you're a kid, you wear what you want.
Yes.
You wear what's comfortable. You wear what you think is cute.
Yes.
My son looks ridiculous some days.
But he's happy.
Today, he went to school in his outfit I picked out. He doesn't even have to worry about that, right?
Okay.
But we shop for things he likes.
Okay.
So he, shorts, a Pokemon shirt. But then he's into gold chains right now.
How old is
he? So
he?
he's basically in one of these, right?
He's stealing my wrist.
So he's in a Pokemon shirt with a double layered gold chain that he got from his cousin, who got it at a garage sale. She got a bag of jewelry from a garage sale.
I'm telling you.
And she was like, "Oh, you like gold chains?" She's 12. And she's like, "Look through this and see if you like one." And so he's wearing a gold chain and a hat, and then he put sunglasses. He's got these, and he's learning how to identify his look, which I love watching happen.
How old is he, Andrea?
He's 10.
Okay.
But I think, that's that piece, right? Every day we get to be creative with what we wear if we let ourselves. We get to express ourselves and our fun and our whatever. And I think there's something, my mind is kind of percolating, more TBD on what I'm thinking about, just that marrying those two, right? Those same people who need a break and want to be creative also probably just need to feel empowered.
That's right.
With who they are.
That's right. They do. And they need,
it's all of us.
We all need it. And it's like, if we allow ourselves to, like, there is so much of what we're talking around today that is that sense of like, where's my permission slip?
Yes. Oh my gosh. This is your permission slip.
Totally.
This is
it.
Whatever you want to be, whoever you are, whatever you're supposed to look like because it feels like you, whatever free time you need, however you need to be creative, here it is.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is it. And like, yeah, I mean, people often say, but then, someone won't like me. Great. Like, they don't
That's
have
okay.
to like
There's
you.
so many more people that will
There's
like
a
you.
gajillion
Yeah.
people on
Meet
this
new
planet.
people. Meet new
Come
people.
to a role-playing game
Yes.
where you will literally meet
yes.
new cool people.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole thing.
In a safe place where you don't have to figure out how to network.
Oh my God, you don't have to do any networking.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. It's the coolest thing. Oh my
That's
gosh.
awesome.
Anyway,
I love that. All right, we chatted,
how
man.
long has it been?
We chatted for 55 minutes.
Is anyone still here?
Nobody's listening.
You and I are listening to this.
The 7 of you who listened to this, you're amazing. We hope you feel the permission to be exactly who you are. Because that's really what this is all about, whether you're in business or not, whether you're whatever that looks like. It really just is like, don't buy someone else's thing. I mean, like, buy our things.
Buy our thing. But
yeah, come and do our stuff. But we're not going to tell you that our thing's going to make you better and save your life. But we want you to have some fun and take some time for yourself.
Mhm.
Like, be intentional.
Heal the paper cuts.
Yes.
Heal the paper cuts.
Figure out how to not get any more.
Yeah.
And they hurt. That's fine. I think that is acknowledging where you've been and what's happened and your journey. That's
life.
It's everything. Yeah.
If nothing bad ever happened to you, I speak only for myself, I would have the most boring life.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I wouldn't be the person I am today if I hadn't had to overcome some kind of challenge.
Yeah.
And that's just part of your flavor.
It's your flavor. All right. Thank you for hanging out with me.
It was so fun.
Thank you if you're still listening to us chatter. I hope you are, because I hope that people feel like you're just hanging out with us. And if you want to hang out with us, we're talking about maybe doing a live thing like this. We did one. Okay. We're going to talk about it after we're going to do
I'll do anything Andrea tells me to do. Okay.
That is my goal in life right there. All right. Thank you. We don't know what this podcast is called, so thanks for hanging out with us.
Bye.
Bye.